Hey everybody, it's summertime. It's so great to see that lots of you are getting out there and getting airborne on your UFOs. I really appreciate the pictures and videos that you guys have been sending in. And it occurred to me as I'm watching these videos that it might be worthwhile for me to give some very easy to remember steps for doing a takeoff. Earlier, I have, of course, talked in depth about the process for a flat takeoff. Now, I know between when you watch that video in the comfort of your home and when you're on the water actually trying to do it, it can be a little tricky to remember all those bits and pieces. I've come up with 3 steps for you to hopefully remember when you're out on the water to at least get you started towards doing a flat takeoff. And the steps are pretty easy. Here it is. Sheet in, bear away, trim, trim, trim. That's it. And if you can rehearse that on the water before you do it, it's better, because as you're going to see, as I'm going to show you, this can happen very quickly. In fact, it can happen quicker than you can recite it to yourself, depending on the conditions, depending on how you have your boat set up. So going into a little bit of detail, everyone pretty much knows already that the main sheet is the main method for you to control your angle of bank. And that control of angle of bank starts before you take off. So as you're accelerating, you're transitioning from trimming for speed to trimming of angle of bank. So it makes sense that on that first step, when you are sheeting in, you're sheeting into a relatively neutral position. And so that as you start to get airborne, you've got main sheet in both directions available to put in the correct trim input. So sheet into a neutral position. If there's a lot of wind, it's going to be, the clue of the sail is going to be further outboard. If it's light wind, you're going to be closer toward the aft corner of the boat. That's roughly defines the neutral position. So sheet into a neutral position. When you do that, the boat, of course, is going to start moving forward, and it's probably going to act a little bit more like any other boat or a catamaran, in that the windward hull is going to get light, or it may even get airborne. That is your signal that you need to start bearing away. It's just a smooth carve away to get the boat flat. Now, one thing that I've seen in some of the videos that y'all have sent me is you do bear away to flat-ish, but it's not exactly flat. That is, the windward hull is still a little bit higher than the leeward hull. So when I say bear away to flat, I mean flat, flat, flat. There are a couple of things that you can look at to help you determine whether or not you are truly flat or not. Visually, the splashes on both the hulls should be identical. They should be nearly identical, like mirror image splashes. If they're not, that's an indication you're not flat. One thing that you might be able to feel in the seat of your pants is when you're truly flat, the acceleration comes. The UFO starts to do what it was designed to do. If you're not quite flat, there's some sluggishness to it. And of course, that is not conducive to getting speed and getting airborne. So be very disciplined and hard on yourself in assessing during that bear away, am I getting truly flat? And if you don't think you're flat enough, bear away just a little bit more and you'll see it and you'll feel it. Now, once you bear away, of course, let the boat do what it's designed to do. I've seen some people, try to do a lot of ooching and scooching and movements of their torso. Yeah, that of course that comes into play, but in the big scheme of things, especially if you're a beginner just learning how to do this, I would say, take all that out. You don't need it. Just keep your body still, let the boat fly on its own. It'll get there. The more important thing for you to do is trim, trim, trim. As you're getting airborne, easing, sheeting in, to the extent you need to keep that boat flat, or if you're ready to take it to the next step, start to get that heel to windward. Let's take a look at this in action. Here I am on a beam reach. I'm sheeting into something neutral. The windward hull gets light. You can see the uneven splashing. There's some even splashing. The boat's flat. The boat takes off. I then start trimming. I was a little lucky here. There was not a lot of trimming to do, a steady breeze, but that's it. Okay, now at the end of that run, rolling right into attack here, getting as far around the corner as I can, pretty much on a beam reach position. Getting set up, no need to change any trim because the boat's foiling just fine. Weights in the middle. I start my sheet in to something neutral, little barrelway. Watch my body, there's not a lot of movement there. The boat just gets airborne on its own, and I'm foiling. I'm in the heart of the envelope, and I'm to my business of trim, trim, trim. Okay, here's another one starting from a dead stop. Again, sheet in, the boat starts to accelerate, and I'm gonna pause it right here and ask the question, am I flat? The answer is, if you look at it, I'm not flat. Look at these two splashes on the bow. The one on the leeward side is different than the one on the windward side. So that's what I'm challenging you guys with, is be critical in assessing whether or not you're truly flat, because once I get it flat, right there you can see an identical splash, and a split second later the boat's airborne and I'm foiling away. That's what you should be going for.